Singapore welcomes the shift in position by the US and Europe, the decision to engage Myanmar while keeping sanctions in place for the time being. We believe this will enable the US and Europe to have more influence in the political evolution of the country. All of us were insistent on the release of Aung San Suu Kyi and hold the Myanmar government to their commitment to have free, fair and credible elections in 2010. At the same time, many of us recognize that our engagement with Myanmar must take a longer-term view beyond 2010. Singapore sees the army as being part of the problem, but also as a necessary part of the solution. And in the end, what is required is a process of national reconciliation. It will take time. The 7-point roadmap will reach its final point in 2010, but the evolution of the political process in Myanmar will go beyond that. And both the army, Aung San Suu Kyi, the NLD, the various ethnic groups must all be a part of that longer-term evolution of Myanmar society. I thought we had a very good discussion. We affirm the importance of the good offices of the UN. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's visit to the country a few months ago led to some good being achieved. He was disappointed that he could not meet Aung San Suu Kyi at that time. But since then, a number of developments have taken place, including the visit of Senator Jim Webb. And recently, the Myanmar Foreign Minister was allowed to visit Washington. And he made a point while he was there to visit some of the monuments and emblems of democracy. I believe he was sending a signal in the same way as the participation of Prime Minister Thein Sein in the UN General Assembly is another signal they are sending, a doffing of the hat both to Washington and to the UN. We should welcome this, and I believe that the statement made by Secretary Clinton is a positive move in the right direction, and the likely visit by Special Envoy Fassino from the Commission, not as Special Envoy, but as a representative of the European Commission, will also lead to some good. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
What about this upsurge in violence in the Kokang, various of the ethnic regions of Myanmar? There's been an upsurge of fighting and refugee flows.
We didn't discuss that. We did talk about refugees and the importance that the developments in Myanmar not adversely affect its neighboring countries. But we did not talk about drugs specifically. Yes, please.
I'd like to just get a little bit more clarification on this envoy from the EU and the US, or just EU?
The EU, Mr. Fassino.
I see. And when do you expect this, within the month?
No, they were talking about November, but I believe this question should better be posed to the Commission. Yeah. Oh, yes. We also emphasize the importance of Professor Gambari continuing with his good offices and going back to Myanmar at an early date.
Do you think, I mean, with the Constitution as it's set up that requires a certain percentage of the people elected to have military backgrounds, do you think the UN should provide electoral assistance, or do you think, as some do, that the Constitution is just it's a showcase election to put the military in power?
I bumped into the son-in-law of former UN Secretary General U Thant here in the UN yesterday. He had translated the new Constitution into English. And he told me that there's a lot of good in the Constitution. So yes, there may be aspects of it which may not find favor with us, if that matters at all. But what is important is a Constitution which best serves the needs and aspirations of the Myanmar people. The provisions for the continuing involvement of the military is not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah.
What did Secretary Clinton say? What
Yes.
you said that you thought Secretary Clinton's remarks were positive. What did she say in the meeting?
I think I should not be paraphrasing her. I think perhaps that question should be better posed to the U.S. Yes, please.
Was there a presence of Myanmar representative in this meeting? And if so, did they say disclose?
No,
disclose
Myanmar